10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Feel the freedom blowing on my face. Now that I have broken out of your cage, the time has come to never be.
Hi and welcome to Dax Chats. In this episode, I'm speaking to a person who you may have heard of, you may not have heard of. If you haven't heard of her, you are too young. She was the voice to the soundtrack of McLeod's Daughters for many years. And then she had her debut album in 2007, but that was more famous in Europe. So she moved to Germany, to Hamburg in Germany, but now she's back in Australia. She's brought out a few singles recently, and she's bringing out a brand new album very shortly, which is simply called 4, because it's her 4th studio album. Today, Dax Chats to Bec Lavelle. So here she is right now.
Hi, lovely Dax. How are you? Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Oh, yes, and it's great to have you. It's fantastic. So, as I said, your career started many moons ago on the soundtracks of McLeod's Daughters.
Can you believe that's 20 years ago? So we're showing our ages now.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I said if you haven't heard of Bec Lavelle, you're too young.
You are too young. You were probably not born when the show started.
That's right.
But you're absolutely right. I came straight out of performing arts school, and I was only 19 or 20 myself. So now you really do know my age. But yes, it was just such a pleasure and an honour to be chosen to be the voice of McLeod's Daughters, and it is so diverse, and it's 110 countries worldwide, and I'm just so honoured to be a part of that story and that journey of McLeod.
Now, in season 6, you actually did do cameo acting roles.
You've done your research.
I have.
Most people have said I look like my grandmother in that episode, because I had to appear to have not gone to town very often since the passing of my father. So the hair and makeup department did an amazing job of making me look a little plain. But it was just such a lovely base. Sort of season 6, the crew had heard of me, the cast had heard of me, and I have obviously been watching the show. And to come together at 4 o'clock in the morning in a hair and makeup trailer and meet Aaron Jeffrey and Michaela and Rachel Carpani, and everyone was there. It was one of those scenes where the entire cast and 100 extras, and it was more bang for your buck was that episode.
Wow.
So they were so welcoming, and yeah, it was lovely to just have my face pop up in season 6. So it was nice to be involved.
So you recorded your debut album in 2007, but then you basically by 2011 you decided to move off overseas because you got a lot of success from your obviously first 2 albums before you left. Over in Europe, so the success was there, so off you went.
It was literally that easy. I had sort of had a lot of time out of school here, and just odd jobs, waitressing and all this kind of stuff, and in the industry, dancing and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought, look, they say go and travel and you'll learn yourself and meet yourself and learn how to live. And I literally packed a bag, had a guitar, and about $300 in my name, after I bought the ticket. And the year or two before that, I had been over in London visiting my sister, of all places, just, for a holiday for 2 weeks. And the record label, Edel Records in Hamburg, invited me across. They saw that, my social media and stuff, they saw that I was in London, wrote to me and said, come across to Berlin for the day for lunch. I was like, what? You're what? yeah, we're going to fly you to Berlin. We want to meet you. So I went in, signed a lot of merch because they were sort of sending them off, they had a lot of McLeod soundtracks. And they were very sweet and said, where's your own material? We could release your album. And I said, I don't have an album, but I could go home and write one. So it really was kind of odd, but weird. But I came back, did my first album, Intimate Portrait, and it was released in Europe before Australia.
Yeah. So you've done 3 albums. I can't even pronounce the name of the 3rd album because it was in German. The title was in German, but the songs were all in English.
Correct. Yeah, it was just a little homage to Hamburg. Having been there 8 years and learning the language, and Hamburg is a hafen city, as they would say. It's a harbour city, and the story just really hit me that. Many years ago, the fishing boats used to come in and out of the harbour, and the women and children, as the husbands left on the ships, they would run to the edge of the arm and shout "Kehr wieder," which means basically come back. So it was wishing them good luck as they went off on their journey. And being a very travelled, almost gypsy-like person myself, I just sort of liked, I loved that sentiment that basically, even if I was to leave Germany, which I now have, it'll have a huge place in my heart. And it's, a quarter of my life basically, and it's, a country I have fallen in love with. So it was just a little part of me to say to Hamburg, Kehr wieder, and I'll always come back for a visit. And yeah.
However, it was an exciting time. I can understand and relate to, as I said, I'm living in China, so I can relate to what it's like to move to a foreign country and not know anything. And as I said to you off screen, if it wasn't for my wife knowing how to speak English, I'd be wrecked. But you also went through a lot of heartache as well, because this album that you're bringing out basically is your ride from heartache to happiness.
True, absolutely true. And many people say, "Oh, what's your writing process?" And I honestly, when I'm happy and having a great time in life, I actually don't write a thing because I just don't have time to write. I'm too busy living life and enjoying.
Too busy having fun, yeah.
Exactly. I actually think if I can remember correctly, I think it was Casey Chambers actually that once said, when she's miserable, that's when she writes her best material. And I can totally relate to that. Like, and German winters and, being locked inside when the snow's up to here and it's -15 outside and you've had your heart broken. It makes it easy to come up with material. So, but
I can relate. Yeah. But I can relate to that too. My last couple of singles have all been written, through sadness. So, that's if I'm having a good time, I've got nothing to write about.
No, you're right. Life's happening. What are you going to write about? So, and the heartbreak songs, as sad as they are to tell, everyone's been there. Everyone has been there, and we can all relate. And I've got a Spotify playlist that just is literally like, if I need to cry, put that on, track list on. So I think as sad as it is to go through heartbreak, time mends everything, and with everything, time fades and passes, and so do feelings, and you eventually find your place in the world where you don't wake up hurting anymore, and you start to see this new fresh breath of oh, I'm going to be okay. And I'm right there. I'm just right in this this fabulous new back in Australia, warmer weather, new album, and then COVID comes along, of course, and slaps us all in the face. You can't do anything against that. But you have to stay flexible and adaptable,
But that is true. That is true. You have to stay adaptable. Is one of those things that we have all had to deal with in this year of the 2020, the year of the pandemic, 100%. what I've actually heard somebody else say, and I've now taken it on myself, the Corona coaster.
Oh, I like that. Okay, great. The 2020 Corona coaster.
Thank Katie from Scarlet's Way for that one. The
Amazing.
2020
Well done,
Corona
Katie.
coaster. Yes.
Corona coaster. See, I love a coaster usually, but I don't know if I'm loving this Corona coaster.
No, I don't think anybody's loving this Corona coaster, and
No.
it keeps going up and down and spinning
It
around.
really does.
You just don't know what's going to happen from day to day. But
No.
during this Corona coaster, you did do something in lockdown, and I did manage to speak to a few of your fellow artists that contributed to the song. I've spoken to
Yeah.
Cora Norton, and I've spoken to Caitlin Thomas, but you also had Ingrid May and Jem Casadale on board for this. But you did a lockdown song called Nervous Girls. Talk me through that.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, these four women, I'm so confident in the future of Australian country music. The strength and the talent in these females is phenomenal. And normally in everyday situations, they would be in the studio themselves in another country touring, and none of us would have time to do anything of the sort, similar to Nervous Girls. And it was only 3 years ago, actually, that Kaz, my manager, brought the song to me. It is a cover. Lucy Hale is an American actress from the show Pretty Little Liars, and she'd released it on an album, but it hadn't been a single release. It was down the sort of track listing. And Kaz said, this is a beautiful song. And I agreed. I said, this is absolutely, it's an amazingly poignant song. But I said, I could just hear more voices. I said, it's not really a solo project. So it automatically went to the back burner. And then it was probably about 12 months ago that she brought it back to the conversation. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So let's think about some voices. Who would we want to do this song with? And of course, Australia is brimming with talent. There was no shortage of a list of talent, but we're still talking about it. And then all of a sudden COVID just comes along, and we were just like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is happening. Like, everyone's at home twiddling their thumbs. And it was in the very early stages. This is back in March, April, and when we're basically locked into our homes. And we had emailed the girls, and I'm not even kidding, within 24 hours, they'd all replied, all said yes, and off we went. And within 2 or 3 weeks, it was wrapped, done, recorded with my mixer master of Paolo in Brazil, then back here in Australia, and out to the world. It came together very quickly in the last few weeks. And I'm so proud of it, because the feedback from men and women has been phenomenal. But obviously it's a female-driven song. But it really is just that thing of, no matter what your age, your race, your sexuality, everyone just is their own worst enemy. And, confidence levels are low, and, 100 people could tell you you're amazing, you're fabulous, but you think that one sort of negative thing and it sticks with you. And I just think the beauty of the song really, the 4 or 5 voices, we really just each had a line that spoke to us from our experience. And it really came across in that song, and I'm really proud of it.
It is a beautiful song, absolutely beautiful song. And when I was speaking to Caitlin, she said she didn't realize, here she is in her house over there, singing into a cupboard with blankets over her head and stuff like that. She
100%.
said she didn't realize that, once she sent off the raw material, it would come back sounding that good, like you were actually all together.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing, because if we had had the opportunity to be in the studio together, it would have been a beautiful couple of days. But due to, obviously, being adaptable, as we musicians always are, we always find a way. Kaz and I had, being in Germany, Kaz and I had been doing things remotely for my last album as well. So I'd been singing in a doona in my jacket closet for quite some time. And, I think if you've got the talented people in your team and the crew around you who are so good at what they do, as long as you get that vocal take that isn't necessarily just got the dog barking in the background or anything, you can really get an amazing result out of it. And who knows what the future brings? This might actually be the way we have to do things for the next year or two. You just never know.
Well, yeah, I was speaking to somebody in Norway last night. I was speaking to Arthur Stullian in Norway last night, and he basically said to me that he doesn't expect anything to come back for at least 2 years. So,
yeah, isn't that heartbreaking when you think about it? Yeah.
It's a sad thing, and I think, but and that's why we start calling it the new normal. Like this is
Absolutely.
we have to change our perception of how we do things, and
Yeah.
how we attract our audiences and how we retain our audiences, and it's a crazy little roller coaster ride, and that's why it's a Corona coaster. There you go.
Roller coaster. I think that the thing that we can take away from it is that although it's becoming more difficult to produce music and release music and things like that, the music itself is what's getting people through. So since day one, people have they've been closed in and, maybe been a little bit sort of hermit-like at home, but I can guarantee you the music is still playing,
Oh, yes.
I've been speaking to a lot of, even just community radio announcers who have been moved to their homes and they're broadcasting from their lounge rooms, but they've just never had more requests for music than right now. So it's a tough one because our industry was the first to be cut. I haven't worked a day since the 17th of March, and like we were just saying, it would be years before we actually get back to a level of where we were at. But we're just here. We're just still doing it. We're making it available to people, and whatever it takes, and particularly just obviously musicians in general, but the Australian country music community, we really will walk over hot coals to make it happen. And that's because our audience are just as giving and just as, just there with us and so supportive.
Well, that's the amazing thing. I mean, the Country Thunder Network operates from right here in my house, and I also broadcast from here when I'm I've got my little studio in my house, and it all started, Dax Chats, the Country Thunder Network, all of that's happening all started because of COVID, because I was sitting at home going, what do I do? And instead of sitting around doing nothing, I was like, I know what I can do. Let's just do it, and then I've got something to do. Yeah.
And technology these days is so great. It allows you to literally be able to do that. You have contact with the entire world from your lounge room. So heaven forbid we hit COVID 20, 30 years ago. I don't know how we would have gone, but honestly, being able to talk to you right now from Brisbane, Australia, in China,
could you imagine COVID in the 80s? Oh my God!
Oh, would have been so sad. No more roller skating, no blue light disco.
God, we're really showing our age now. Come on. the roller rinks, the ice skating rinks. Oh my goodness.
The good old days when everything was just really simple.
It was simple back then, wasn't it? It was great.
It really was, yeah.
Now, your new single is called I'm Happier. Walk me through I'm Happier.
Yeah, so I'm Happier. 18 months ago, before I left Germany, I had been asked over and over again by my dear friend Andre Visa. He and I met. We were both contestants on The Voice of Germany, would you believe, in 2014. And after the show, we were solid friends. He was 20 years younger than I was, but we just kind of clicked, on that lovely level, musical level. And he had a studio at home, which was about 6 hours drive from me in Hamburg. Now, in Germany, it's very much like anywhere over an hour in any direction, you're like, you have got to be kidding. I'm not even going. What are you talking about? That's a holiday. Whereas, road trip back here, I would drive from Brisbane to Sydney in a heartbeat. It's a day's drive, 12 hours, knock it over in one hit sort of thing.
That's right.
He was 6 hours from Hamburg, and due to my, gigs and schedules, it wasn't really possible, but I knew I was planning to come back to Australia. So before I did, I got down to his studio, and we'd never worked together before, except, obviously on The Voice, and we just said, look, let's just try this. Let's just see what happens, And I came in with my lyric ideas and melodies and things like that. And he's an incredible producer. And for a 22-year-old, he is beyond, he's just got ideas, and he hears things that you don't even know, where did that come from? And so we met up, and I had planned to go down for a week. And after 7 days, we came out with 8 fully released, produced, finished, vocalized, 10-part harmony tracks I
Wow.
was like,
Wow.
let's do that again. You know, it's just one of those really special things that none of us knew what was about to happen. He pulled in all of his mates, you know, one's a talented drummer, one plays cello, one's a violinist, one's, you know, a piano player. So I'm, you know, midnight every night, the boys have finished at uni and they come across and we've produced like a 5-6 instrument track. And
Wow.
you know, we go like, oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, let's go to bed now. And from those moments, we basically wrote 90% of this album, and I'd been holding on to it tightly until I could sort of obviously find the funds. Albums don't come out of, you know, thin air. So it was only due to COVID that I just thought, look, you know, this is the time where I really need to put everything I've got into this. And I'm Happier was one of those tracks that I had recently broken up with my long-term partner in Germany, and I just was miserable, was absolutely heartbroken for a while there. And by the time I got to Andre's, it was just, like I said, it was just that waking up and just going, thank God I dodged a bullet. You know, some people just aren't right for you. And in the moment you think, oh my God, this is perfect. This is going to be amazing. And, you know, I'm thinking the next step for us was marriage, and he's come home and just gone, see ya, I'm out of here.
Oh God, yes.
So, but again, we've all kind of been there, but this song is just like, I dodged a bullet. It wasn't right for me. And now I can see that I'm just happier in my own self. And you don't always need someone to complete you. I think the idea is that, you know, the saying goes that, you know, you're trying to find your other half, but really, you know, you're two full people that should be coming together and, you know, making a two kind of thing, rather than sort of searching for someone or something else in someone else. And I'm happy. It was just really just a testament that just, I'm going to be okay. And, you know, just move on, just in your own time, because it's okay to grieve. You know, I think it's important to just let that go. But yeah, one day you do wake up and it doesn't hurt as much, and you can see a positive sort of thing in the future. And yeah, I'm happy. It was just a little bit of it's going to be okay.
Awesome. Now, the album is called simply 4 because it is your 4th studio album.
Don't complicate things, you know.
And I just want to say, for the millennials, all right, it is Roman numerals. It's just I and V.
Another way. I'm just getting old. Let's show just how old I am. Look, I could have gone into some amazing, you know, title and it had 10,000 meanings, and I just really just wanted to keep, you know, the KISS
simplify it.
Stupid.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's
now,
the 4th album. I'm 40. Yeah, let's just go with that.
Don't give your age away.
I'm happy. I'm thrilled to be 40. I'm loving it.
You don't look any older than 25. Come on.
Oh my God, Dax. You can keep talking. Thank you. Thank you. Very sweet.
Come on. I'm only 8 years older than you, so don't worry.
You don't look a day over 32.
There you go. See, thank you very much. So you do have a duet on this album with actor turned singer extraordinaire. I can't believe how good he is. I actually didn't even know he was a singer until recently, Mr. Cameron Daddo. Tell me about that.
Cameron is, look, just, I think, you know, people just remember him from Perfect Match, you know, and I just think, what a talent in one body. I was so proud and so thrilled. One of my first shows back when I arrived back in Australia last year was actually a headline show at the Vanguard in Newtown with Ben Ransom, who's also got a duo with me on this album. And Cam came along.
I'll be speaking to Ben in 2 weeks.
I have so much time for that man. Honestly, he's such a workhorse and got a really beautiful personality, and he's such a hard worker. So you'll have an amazing time talking to him. Cameron came along and performed on the night, and I sat with his wife Ali, also 80s, you know, goddess model. You know, she was on every cover of Dolly that I ever owned. But I was sitting next to Ali watching Cam on stage, and he blew my socks off. Like, I had never seen him perform, and he just, I don't know if it's his acting background that also then now just really complements his performance. But he just it was flawless. And I just said, I said to Kaz, I need to work with Cam. We need to do more of this. This is making my heart sing. And he also said similar things. You know, Bec, let's do it again. What are we doing next in the future? So I have a lot of time for Cam, and there's no more crying. Again, it was another track I'd written. It's got a lovely sort of storyline between sort of this older couple, and I had sung it as a solo for years now. I think I've had it in the bag for about 10 years, from demo to the sort of final format. But Kaz just suggested, oh my God, this would be perfect to get Cam on. And he said, yes, and I'm so honoured and thrilled, because again, he came in and did a vocal, and he said it was quite an emotional thing for him as well. It really sort of touched and connected with him, and I love the final product.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, because I've actually only just started hearing Cameron Datto, and he is spot on it. It's very, very good stuff. And I will be talking and I will be talking to Kaz about getting him on to a Dax Chats interview.
Oh, he'd love that. He'd really love that. And his new EP is Sun and Moon. So if anyone's out there wanting even more new music, it's just released recently. So Sun and Moon is his new EP. So I can highly recommend.
So I first of all, I have to give a shout out to Kaz Waters from Red Rebel Music. She's been a wonderful support for us and for you artists as well. I mean, she's just been wonders to you guys.
There's just nothing that happens without her. We literally talk. I would honestly say today we've already spoken about 5 to 10 times. Nothing happens without her. She just has an eye for what is right, and she's been in the industry a very long time, and you know, I don't know if I can swear, I'll just bip it out, but she's been through some shit, and she's just honest. You know, if she doesn't like something, or if she doesn't think something's going to work, she'll just tell you, and then she'll leave it up to you. Even as an artist, she'll just say, I don't think this is the right way to go, but it's still your choice. You know, you're an independent artist here. But her expertise and her friendship truly means the world to me. And I've been working with her for years and years, and she was always just kind of just here. And then it was only about 2 years ago that we said, are we going to do this officially? And so, you know, she's been my manager now for a couple of years, and I just love her. I think she's amazing. And I can talk to her at 11 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning. She's just there. And I'm so, so grateful.
Right. So, okay, the album is obviously just simply 4. Bec Lavelle, when does it come out?
It comes out the 28th of August. But I mean, if you want to have a quick look, I only just got them all delivered, but there's a little pack here that from beclavelle.com.au, and it's got, this is the CD. So I thought I'd bring it along and I can actually show you all.
Oh, there you go.
That's the album. Oh, my head all over it.
Lovely. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled. I have done a little sort of a pre-order pack and things like that with autograph cards and stickers and calico bags and things that are all from beclavelle.com.au, and they're available now. Due to COVID, obviously there's some postal delays and stuff, so we're hoping for people's patience, but they're all here and we're sort of fulfilling them now. But 28th of August, it'll be digitally available through all, you know, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. And then, you know, I just like the idea of having another version of just a physical CD that you can order and have in your hands. And I'm signing them all. So from the 28th of August, beclavelle.com.au.
Cool. And I guess the I'm Happier t-shirt is also available on your website?
It currently isn't. This arrived yesterday, and I just kind of wanted to get people's vibe on it, because I didn't want to order 1,000 of them. People go, oh, that's pretty awful.
I like it.
I've already had. Yeah, thank you. I've already had 10 people say, where do I get the t-shirt from? I just done a video before our chat, and I think it's going to be a keeper. So again, beclavelle.com.au. They'll be up there in the next week or so, I'd say.
Fantastic. Well, Bec, thank you very much.
Positives these days, you know, we're really.
That's right. Yes. Anything to support the artists, and anything to support community radio stations as well, because they're struggling as well, and small businesses like me as well, because I don't make money doing what I do either. So we're all at a loss right now.
it's really, you know, compliments, as lovely as they are, they don't pay the bills, do they? So
That's right.
you
That's
know,
right.
but they fill our cups up, I think, you know, with a different kind of payment. But you're absolutely right. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to talk to us all during these times. I think, you know, even just the community of just being able to sort of just keep each other in check and check that you're okay. I hope you're okay. I hope you're doing well, Dax. And I really do appreciate you.
We are doing very well actually in China, and it's almost like we're back to normal here. There's I think the other day there was so if you're outside, put a mask on. That's it.
Well done.
And I stay at home with my 2.5-year-old son.
Well, it's nice too, I think, at the moment, like I haven't seen this much of my family in about 10 years. So, you know, again, trying to put the positive spin on it is that, you know, being a musician, we usually go out 6-7 nights a week, and we don't know, you know, we're never at home for Christmas, we're never at home for the birthdays. And so far I've been home this year for all of them. So
there you go. There you go.
I've just been enjoying a lot of time with nieces and nephews and my sisters. So it's been really lovely.
Well, okay. Well, Bec, thank you very much for your time today. It's been wonderful talking to you. The album is, of course, called 4, and it is out on the 28th of this month. I wish you all the best with it. Anybody that wants to get the album, of course, can go to beclavelle.com.au, or you can find it, or you can pre-order it on your iTunes, Google Play, all that type of stuff, right?
The link is also on beclavelle.com.au. If you just go to that website and scroll down, all the links are there to pre-save it to your favourite online streaming service.
No problem. Well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a marvellous time talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me, and take care, and then we'll talk to you soon.
No problem. You too. You take care. All right, that was Bec Lavelle, and her new album is, of course, coming out on the 28th of this month. It is called 4. So go and grab it any way you can. Head on to beclavelle.com.au and order it, and order some merch while you're there, because every artist needs all the support they can get. This is DJ Dax for Dax Chats. Until next time, remember, we are proudly supported by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. See you later.